Hi guys, welcome to session 1 for week 3. I am definitely feeling much better, so thank you guys for your patience last week. I am at that point where it's kind of breaking up, so my coughing is a little worse. Hopefully we get through this. This morning's lecture that I gave my other class, well, there was a lot of coughing, but I've been feeling better as the day goes on, so that's a big plus. Just a reminder, best way to contact me is through email. You can also text message me at 817-909-5597. Course chat and Canvas, of course. Just remember, anybody can see that. And you can also text message me, call me at 817-909-5597. That's my cell phone. Today we're going to go through the week 3 assignment, and we're going to usually be doing a lot of what you already know, which is going to be a repeat, and we're going to be adding a few new things to that. And so, since we had so much struggle with last week, I thought we would go through these questions one at a time so you guys can just see what's going on and what we need to be doing. So, our first question on our chapter 4 worksheet, there are 2 worksheets for the assignment, chapter 5 and chapter 6. The first question says, for each reservation, list the reservation ID, the trip ID, the customer number, and customer last name. Order the results by the customer's last name. Now, every single question on this worksheet has this blue box. There's hints in this, guys. It basically tells you what to do. You just have to fill in the question marks. So we're going to hop over to Workbench and take a look at this. Let me rearrange things here. Okay. So let's see what we have. Let's see if I can scoot this over and get everything to fit in here. There we go. I think that will work. Okay, so our first question says, for each reservation, list. Okay, there's our keyword list. So I know that's where stuff's going to start coming after the select statement. So I'm going to say list. So I'm going to do select, and it says list the reservation ID, trip ID, customer number, and customer last name. Okay, so last name. And it tells me at the very beginning for each reservation. Well, that for is a key word. From reservation. And I'm going to do, it tells me order, that's keyword, order by the results of the customer's last name. So I'm going to do order by last name. And let's hit that arrow key. Uh-oh, got something wrong, most likely a typo. Let's see what it says. Unknown column, last name. Let's look at our reservation table here. Tables, reservation. Trip ID, trip name, trip other fees, customer. Our reservation does not have the last name column and customer last name. So we're going to have to pull some files. So we're going to have to do a little bit of editing here. So let's try. We're going to have to pull from 2 tables. So we're going to be pulling from the reservation table and the customer table because that's where the last name is. So after that from statement, I'm just going to put reservation, comma, customer. And then I'm going to do a where reservation dot customer number equals customer dot last name. What? No, we're customer number. Now let's see what we get. Customer number filled in list. And what clause? Column. Customer number in field list is ambiguous. Let me switch this up and see if it'll let me do it like this. Customer number in that's here. I think it's, oh, never mind. That's what's wrong. I misspelled reservation. It just wasn't picking it up. Okay, this should say dot customer underscore number. There we go. Well, let's try. Reservation, customer number. That's right. I did this customer number. Yes, number of person. Customer number is reservation underscore ID, trip ID, customer number, last name, reservation, comma, customer, where reservation dot customer number equals customer dot customer number. Let's see. Yes, that should be right. There's my two ties. So why is it calling it ambiguous? Ambiguous? Now. Where? I don't even know that we need a where. It still says it's calling it ambiguous here. Where and reservation dot customer number. Let's see if it will do it. There it is. Okay, you had to specify which table you wanted to pull that customer number from. That's what was going on. But here's your results. And you can see it's ordered by last name in alphabetical order. That's the way you want it to look. So that's the first one. We're going to be doing a lot of these join tables where we are pulling information from two tables throughout these worksheets. You're going to be repeating this over and over and over. So let's move to number 2. For each reservation, let's go ahead and start filling in what we need to here. For each reservation for customer Ryan Goff, list the reservation ID, trip ID, and number of persons. So I've got my first keyword, for each reservation. For customer. Reservation customer, so I'm working with the same table. List the reservation ID, trip ID, and number of persons. So this needs to come off. I need to go number. It's num persons. And the where is going to be different. Where, let's see, where, no, I think it'll be the same. Where customer number equals customer number. But we're going to have some additions to that because there's going to be an and there. So I'm going to say and last name equals Goff, oops, Goff, and first name equals Ryan, because I only want to pull his reservation. So let's see what we get. And he has 2 reservations with 4-person and 6-person, and 2 different trip IDs, 2 different reservation numbers. Basically, once you type this statement out, guys, all you have to do is go in and edit it. So let's go down to number 3. It says, list the trip name and type of each trip that has Rita Boyers as a guide. Okay, so let's go to we got our keyword list. Let's go ahead and fill out this portion first. List the trip name. So trip underscore name and type and it's trip underscore type. And we're going to be getting this information from 3 different tables. We are going to be going from the trip table. And look at that picture, guys. It's kind of giving you helpful hints on this. Trip table, the trip guide, and the guide table. So let's figure out how we need to trip ID and guide number. So first is going to be, let's go ahead and erase this. Where trip underscore ID equals trip underscore guides dot trip ID and guide dot guide number equals trip guides dot guide number and last name equals, what's our last name? Boyers. And first name equals Rita. Oops, I got an extra space there. Okay, so let's talk about how I figured that out. Oops. Come on, Colton. There we go. Let me grab my pencil here. So we know we need to get information from the trip table, from the trip guides, and from the guide table. It gives us that right there in the worksheet. It tells you that. So that's trip, trip guide, guide. And then we have to compare those tables because we need to make sure that we're pulling the right information. So we know in the trip table, we're going to look at all these columns. And we know that the trip table is connected to the guide table. What are the commonalities? Trip ID. So we write a statement that says trip.trip ID equals trip guides trip ID. Got it? And then we look and we know that trip guides and guides are connected to one another. What are their commonality? The guide number. So we say and guide.guide number equals trip guides.guides number. We also want to make sure we're only pulling the information for Rita. So we say and last name equals Boyer and first name equals Rita. So let's run our statement and see what we get. Uh-oh, looks like I have an error. Unknown column, first name. Uh-oh, unknown column. Oops, I really have to learn to spell first. Let's run it again. And there it is. She got quite a few. And guys, you're just going to be taking pictures for this assignment just like you did last week. Take a whole picture of your center that shows your code and your results and just copy it. And it says put your SQL command in your results here. Control V. Come on. Control V. Let's try that again. Copy. Paste. Is it going to paste? Come on. Paste. Oh, it's because I'm not in an editable. I need to be able to put this in edit mode. There we go. And we were on number 3. Yes, number 3. So, Control V. And just paste your picture in there. So now moving on to number 4. It tells us, list the trip name of each biking trip that has Rita Boyer as a guide. Well, that's pretty much the same exact code, right? Except for it's telling us just to list the trip name of each biking trip. So I can minimize this, go back here, and get rid of where it says trip type. Well, for each biking trip. Don't have to list the type, just the name of each biking trip that has Rita Boyer as a guide. Well, we know we're doing the exact same thing. Except for, what's the difference? We did an extra and statement there, right? All of this is exactly the same. We just need to add one more thing because we need to only show for the biking trips. So we're going to say where trip trip underscore type equals biking. Let's see what we get. Look at there. There's a few of them. So now let's go to 5. For each reservation that has a trip date Okay, so for each reservation that has a trip date of July 23rd, 2016, list the customer's last name. Here's our list. So let's see here. We're going to go last underscore name, customer's last name, trip name, and start location. Start underscore location and trip date. Trip underscore date from what tells us on our worksheet, guys. Instead of you having to pull up the ERD and figure it out, it's giving it to you. So we know we need the reservations. I'm going to erase this. I'm just going to retype the from line. So I know I need it to come from the reservation, the trip, customer, and the trip. So now we have to figure out our where statement. So we need to find the commonalities again. So to tie, let's see how they work. Customer goes to reservation, and what ties them together? Customer number. So over here, we're going to say, I'm just going to erase the whole end. We're going to start with that where. Where customer dot customer number equals reservation dot customer underscore numbers, customer underscore number. And so now we need to figure out what ties these two tables together. The trip ID. So, and trip dot trip underscore ID equals reservation dot trip underscore ID. And our question said to only pull those that have a date, July 16th. So it gives you that little hint right here. But remember, it has to be formatted correctly. So I can say and trip underscore date equals 2016 dash 07 dash 23. And let's run it. And there it is. It gives me two. Gronowski and Breitenbrock. Gives you the answer right here, guys. So you know whether you're getting it right when you do your SQL. You just need to paste your results right underneath that. So let's go down to our next one, which is number 6. Let's get this over just a wee bit. There we go. Okay, so list, there's our keyword. So we now go to that select statement. I'm going to just highlight all that and delete it. So it tells me to list the reservation ID, trip ID, and trip date from the reservation for a trip in ME. Use the N operator in your query. Woo. So let's see. You're going to need, it tells you here, a main outer and a subquery. You did this last week. Let me erase all of this. And first one we're going to grab from the reservations. So I'm going to say reservation. And I'm going to say, where exists, select from trip where trip underscore ID equals reservation dot trip underscore ID and state equals ME. Right, ME. Yes, ME. See what we get. Uh-oh. Check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL reservation version syntax. I got a syntax error. It's showing my syntax error right here. But, oh, maybe I had one too many spaces. ME. State equals ME, right? Yes. And the state is in my trip table. Trip dot state equals ME. Showing that as a syntax error. Why are you showing that as a syntax error? State equals. Oh, I know why. State equals, I forgot, our brackets, ME, parentheses. There's the syntax error. Now let's try it. There it is. And there's our result. Be sure you look at these hints, guys. It's telling you what to do. I mean, it's giving you the instructions there. This is going to be a pretty easy. While you're doing some complicated SQLs, there are hints on every single one of these. Be sure you're reading them. And then it tells you to repeat exercise 6, but this time use the exist operator in the query. Oops, I used it in number 6, didn't I? Yes, and it wanted us to use the in operator. Whoops. So we could just say in. That is syntax here. Yes, it doesn't like in. Where I forgot my trip ID. Where trip ID in. There we go. Nope, it's still calling the syntax error. Nope, unknown trip. Oh, yep, unknown trip. There we go. Typo. Operation should contain one column. It does. Where select from trip where trip.trip ID equals reservation dot trip ID and state equals main. We don't need this though. We just need that. Right. Let's see. Select. Oh, I need to one column. Am I selecting from that table? We need the reservation ID, the trip ID, and the trip date. Select trip underscore date underscore date from trip, right? From trip where state equals me. It's still telling me I have a syntax error though. Oh, it wants me to pull this back up. Missing closing parentheses. No, I'm not. Actually, I think I should read trip ID. It does not like that statement. Let's try this again. Okay. Where trip ID in no space. Select trip ID from trip where state equals ME. That does it. It was just a little confused. There it is. And then number 7, you will do the exist. And then number 8, select, let's see, what's number 8 tell us? List the trip ID. Well, there's our keywords. Let's go ahead and do our select statement. List the trip ID, trip name, and the guide's first and last name. So guide dot first name and guide dot last name from, gives us our from right here. From our trip guides and guide. Where, so let's see how they're connected. We know the trip table is connected to trip guides using the trip ID. So where trip ID equals trip guides dot trip ID, and we know that guide number is connected to the trip guides table. So trip underscore guides dot guide underscore number, and we need to know who can lead paddling trip. So where in trip underscore type equals paddling. Like that. And execute. Uh-oh. Trip ID field is ambiguous. Trip ID. And there it is. Number 9, repeat exercise 8, but use aliases for the table names. So remember, aliases are short form. So instead of trip, I could say T-trip. And I would have to assign those here. So I would say trip T, trip guides TG, and guide would just be a G. So then my ID, change that to a T, and trip guides would be a TG, guide is a G, trip guides is a TG. Let's run it. Uh-oh, what's it say? Error, unknown column, guide first name. Uh-oh. G, G, and there it is. We just use aliases, short form, basically. And then we have number 10. Are you guys ready? Go to our select statement, because it says list trip IDs for each pair of trips that have the same start location. So it looks like it wants us to use short form here again. Background. Although it maybe seems strange, it is actually possible to join a single table to itself. Yes, it is. So we can say, we're going to use short form again. So we're doing, this time it wants us to assign F to trip and S trip. So we don't need the guide names, do we? No, we need the start location though. So we're going to say F trip ID. Let's see. And we're going to do F trip ID and S dot trip ID and F start underscore location. And we're going to say from, we're pulling from the same table, but we're giving it two aliases. So we're going to say from trip F, comma, trip S. Where? Let's get rid of all of that. And where the F dot start location equals S dot start location and F dot trip ID equals or greater than S dot trip ID, and we're going to order by F dot trip underscore ID, comma, S dot trip underscore ID. And you just kind of have to read this through, guys. It gives you the background. Although it may seem strange to possibly join these tables, blah, 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 blah. It goes on to tell you the self-join. That's what we're doing. So let's see what we get here. Unknown column. Oops. Start. Unknown. underscore location. There it is. And that's how you join two tables. Or you join the same table within itself. And basically what's happening is you're pulling the first column and then the second column of the trip ID. And number 11 says, list the trip name, trip ID, and guys, see right there is the code you need, right there. All you have to do is fill in the question marks. List the trip name, trip ID, and customer number for all reservations for hiking trips. Sort the results in ascending order by trip ID as the major sort key and customer number as the minor sort key. So let's take a look here. So we say, there's our list. So we're going to say trip name, trip ID, and customer underscore number. And we're getting this stuff from the reservation and the trip. And what connects reservation and trip? Well, the trip ID does. So we're going to say where trip ID equals reservation dot trip ID. And trip underscore type equals hiking. And order by, order by, to tell us to sort it by trip ID. Customer underscore number. Let's see what we got. And there it is. Okay, this is a three-part question. List the number and names of each customer that lives in the state of Connecticut. Well, that is a very simple statement, right? Let's see. List the number and names. So, customer number and last name. And it's coming from the customer table where state equals CT. Where state equals UT. That's not hard. Pretty easy one. Then it says, list the number and name of each customer that has a reservation involving 4 people. List the number and name. So we're going from the reservation table here. This is going to be like a compound. So we're going to say select customer. Let's see what to tell us to list. Oops, stop that. List the number and name. So we're going to be listing the customer number and last name. And we're going to be getting it from the customer and reservation. Involving 4 people or more. Number of persons. So where number of persons is greater than, involving 4 people. Reservations involving 4 people. So that would be equals 4. Uh-oh. Customer number field is ambiguous. Let's get it from the customer number. Uh-oh. Something's not right. Look at this. We've got multiples, don't we? We don't want multiples. So we need to fix that because we need to connect those tables. We need to actually join them in that where clause. So we're going to say where reservation and customer are combined with the customer number. So we're going to say where customer underscore number equals reservation dot customer number and number of person equals 4. Then we don't get duplicates. There it is. And that, we've got 12C now. Let's see here. List the number and name of each customer that either lives in the state of Connecticut or that currently has a reservation for 4 people. Note, this question simply requires that you combine the results of the first query, 12A, with the results of the second query, 12B. Huh. So, we are going to do select customer number, select last name. Yes, we got that. And basically we're going to be running them. We're going to be doing a union here, guys. So let's go. The first one will be just from customer. And it's going to say where, and this time it's CT, where state equals CT. And then we're going to be doing union and select customer underscore number, comma, customer, let's see, and last name. Yeah, and last name. From, oops. Reservation, comma, customer. And select, oh. It should be customer number. That's, doesn't need to say dot customer number here, just customer number. And there it is. You're just joining those two together. So it's just a simple union keyword. It's just a union clause. It allows you to do two different select statements and pulls them together. And then we have 13. We're almost done with the first worksheet, guys. List the number of names for each customer that lives in the state of Connecticut and that has a reservation of 4 people. You must use the intersect operator. Woo! So let's see where we're going with this. Let's see. We're going to list the number and name. So customer number and last underscore name. And we're going to be taking that from the customer. And 13 is going to be an intersect, where state equals CT. So we're going to change using union to intersect. I don't even think that's valid anymore, is it? No. SQL wrote intersect out, guys. I don't think you can actually do this one because it's a union. Union and intersect are essentially union and intersect are the exact same thing. But SQL wrote out intersect and you can't use it anymore. So it's just union. So you're just going to repeat your script from 12 to 13. It's going to be the exact same because you cannot use intersect anymore. We need to get that. I need to get that changed. They would only contain one record because when you intersect them, it comes to brown to brown. Yeah, you guys can just skip number 13. I'm going to take it off the worksheet. You can just skip it. List number 14. List the trip ID, maximum group size. Oh, this will be a fun one. So we're going to do, okay, list the trip ID, trip underscore ID, trip name, and maximum group size. Trip name, maximum group size, okay, the max underscore group underscore size from the trip table. Okay, and the maximum group size for each trip whose maximum group size is greater than the maximum group size of every trip that has the type paddling. Okay, so we're going to say where max group size greater than all select max group size from trip where type equals paddling. That should pull up error code. Unknown column type in where clause. Where max, did I misspell something? Max group size. Did I misspell something? No. I didn't misspell that. Where max. It is right there. Where Oh, haha, that's it right there. Where trip underscore type equals paddling. And ta-da! We pull it up. And then 15 is essentially the exact same thing. And it tells you the hint. Check out sections all and any. List the trip ID, trip name, maximum group size for each trip whose maximum group size is greater than the maximum group size of at least one trip that has the type paddling. You must use the any operator this time. So you would do this as, let's see, where max group size is greater than, instead of all, you're just simply going to replace this with any. And there it is. Right, with any. Yeah, with any. And then I think 16, 17, 18, 19. There's quite a few. Okay, and then we have 17. Right? Or are we on 16? That's the church has a reservation ID should out. Yep, we're on 16. That's the trip ID, trip name. Trip ID, trip name. Reservation ID. For all trips. All is your keyword there, guys. You see that. All trips should be included in the results. For those trips that currently do not have reservations, the reservation ID should be left blank. Order the results by trip ID. So we're going to say, that's two tables. So we're going to say trip.trip ID because we know that it's a duplicate in another column from the trip. And we're going to do a left join. In the left join, let me show you guys this so I can explain it. It's not on here. The left join means to explain it. And the left join it returns, how do I explain that? The left join returns all records from the left table and the matched records from the right table. Does that make sense? You have a left and right table, and your picture shows you here. Your left table is reservations, your right table is trip. Basically, it's kind of like joining them in the middle. You're returning all of one if it matches stuff that's in the other column. So our SQL is going to look like this. From trip, we're going to delete that and say left join reservation on trip underscore ID equals reservation trip underscore ID. Oh, we need to order by trip underscore ID. Yes. And ta-da! And you see it. Doesn't have a reservation. It's leaving it as blank. And see all the reservations and all the reservations that don't have a trip booked yet. Or all the trips that don't have a reservation booked yet. Basically, this would come in handy if your customer needed to figure out what trips she needs to do some advertising on so that she gets some bookings. She knows that the Blueberry Mountain trip doesn't have any reservations. She might want to do some advertising on social media or through brochures or postcards for that trip. Or the Cadillac Mountain or the Canyon Mountain, Chevron Pond, and so on. She could do some specialized marketing and advertising to get reservations for those specific trips. And number 17 is next. List the last and first name for those guides that can lead a biking trip. List each guide name only once and sort the result by guide name. Doesn't sound too difficult. You're going to be using that select distinct, guys. We learned that last week. So I'm going to go up here and we're going to say, oops, select distinct. It's telling me to list the last name and first name. Okay, so last name, comma, first name from trip, comma, trip underscore guides and guide, 3 tables. And we're going to say where trip dot trip ID, because that's what connects them, equals trip underscore guides dot trip underscore ID and trip underscore guides equals trip underscore guides dot guide number equals guide dot guide number where, no, not another where, another and type equals trip underscore type equals biking. And then it tells us to order by last name. And there it is. And then you have your very last one. Laura Jones wants confirmation on her upcoming trip on June 15th, 2016. Your record indicates that Laura Jones, customer number 112. To prepare the information you will be passing along to Mrs. Jones, generate the query that lists the customer's last name and first name, the trip date, and the guide's last and first name from the customer number 121. Look at all of those tables, guys. The multiple query table requires all 5 tables of the Colonial Adventure Tour database. Remember to join all of the tables. So, let's see. We know we need it's not distinct anymore. We can get rid of that. And there's last name and first name in several columns, so we need to specify. We want the customer last name and the customer's first name. Yes. And it told us customer's first name, customer's last name, the trip name, trip date, and then it tells us that we also list the guide. So this time we do guide dot last name, comma, guide dot first name, and then it said all the tables. So we're going to go from, we'll start at the bottom, customer, reservation, trip, guide, trip guides. So then our where clause is going to be long. So let's start and figure it out. So first, we need to connect our customer and reservations. So we know that's customer and customer number. So we're going to say where customer dot customer underscore number equals reservation dot customer underscore number. And we need to connect trip and reservation. So that is true. How do we connect those two? Did those two connect? Yes. Trip ID. And reservation dot trip underscore ID equals trip dot trip underscore ID. And our next table, trip guides to trip and trip, the trip ID again. So the trip dot trip ID equals trip guides dot trip ID. And our last is guide number and guide number. So, and trip guides equals, no, trip guides dot guide number equals guide dot guide number. Almost there. And it's for one customer. So, and customer dot customer underscore number equals 112. Oh, got some errors. Unknown column. Customer dot custom number. Oops, where's that at? Customer. Here it is, customer. And there it is. Jones Laura. Trip name, Northern Forest Canoe Trail. Trip date, guides, first and last name. And then you have one question left. There's only 19 questions on this worksheet, I believe. Yeah. On the last question, you will be writing your own question and generating the SQL command to answer that question. Your query must involve two tables. Have fun with this one. Guys, take what you just wrote. It says it must involve two tables. It can involve more than two tables. Take the one you just made and change it. Maybe change it to where it says trip dot trip underscore type equals one of the trips, hiking, biking, paddling, anything like that, and run it. You just need to write your question out and then paste your commands there. What would your question be? Well, you know what, guys? Just go back up to the one above it. Laura Jones. And you're just going to reword it. I'm going to come back down here and say, put your question here. I'm going to paste this. Well, it's not Laura Jones then. We're going to simply say, confirm. In my case, it would be confirm the hiking. Confirm the hiking trip reservations. Your records indicate that, no, we don't even need that sentence. To prepare the information, you will pass it along. We can take out Mrs. Jones. Generate the query that lists. I'm going to change this to simply comma. List the customer's last name, first name, trip name, and trip date, and guides. Last and first name for all of the hiking trips. Just like that. There's my question. There's my query. There's my question. Query right there. Exact same query I used in number 18. I just changed the very last and statement and changed it to trip type equals hiking. Maybe you want to pick a certain guide. So you would do where and guide last name equals whatever you want it to be, and it would pull all the reservations for that guide. You knew anything like that, guys? And that is chapter 5. Now then, there is also a chapter 6. Let me clear my drawing here. There is also a chapter 6. Now, there's not as, sorry, there's not as many questions on this worksheet. There are only, I don't think there are, yeah, maybe there are. There's only 10 on this worksheet instead of 19. Only 10. So, you have been asked by Colonial Adventures Tours to create a paddling table that only contains records for trips from the trip table with a type of paddling. You have also been requested to make some modifications to the paddling table. Okay. Paddling table is simple to the trip table. That is part of the Colonial Adventures Tour database. Yes. Model your create table padding. Okay, guys, you know how to create a table. We did this last week. So I'm not going to go through that because you can look at last week's and get that information. There's the describe. So next it tells you to insert table, the trip ID, trip name, state, distance, maximum group size, and season from the trip table for only those trips having the type padding. there is a quick way to do that. Number 2, you can do insert into padding and do the select, all of the select stuff. So this is what your query would look like. I'm not going to run it because I don't have a padding table at the moment, but this is what it would look like. You would do insert into paddling, insert into paddling, select trip underscore ID, trip underscore name, state, distance, max group size, season, like that. And you would say from trip, you would say where type equals paddling. Oops, I got double quotes there. Where type equals paddling. That is what your query would look like. And you would run it and it would insert all of that information into your paddling table. And then you have number 3, where it says for all trips located in Connecticut CT, increase the maximum group size by 2. Update the paddling table accordingly. For all trips located in Connecticut CT. Well, we can do that by I'm going to show you how to do it, but I'm going to update our actual trip table. So I'm going to say update trip and say set max underscore group size equals max underscore group size plus 2, where state equals CT. Now on yours, it's going to say update paddling. I'm just showing you how this works. I'm going to say update up, and I got an error. You're using safe update mode, and you tried to update a table without what? So that. Without a where. Oops. No, I used a where. Without a where that uses a key column. To disable safe mode, toggle the options in preference SQL editor and reconnect. Uh-oh. So I have to go. I didn't realize I was in safe mode. To disable safe mode, toggle the options in preferences, SQL editor, and reconnect. Okay, so there's my connection. I'm not in safe mode. Preferences, let's see, there it is, preferences. I'm not in safe mode. Save snapshots, yes. Auto save 10 seconds. Create new tabs and query tabs instead of files. Show schema. Command management. Oh, maybe I'm missing it down here. There it is. There it is. I'm going to uncheck safe. That's how you do that. Edit preferences, and under the SQL editor, scroll down and uncheck Save updates if yours has been checked. So now I can run it. I have to reconnect. I'm going to copy this. Command C. Close that. Reconnect. Come on. And now I'm going to run it. There it goes. Now it updated it. Now I'm going to change that back because I don't want to mess up the table. And then it tells you to insert into padding values. And it gives you the list of values in number 4. You know how to do that. We did that last week. It's just to insert into paddling values, parentheses, and then put in the list it gives you for those values, what it tells you to do. So you're going to put in certain names first. So you're going to put in Lake Chaplin, and then VT, and then 16, and then comma 12, and then comma summer. Don't forget to put quotes around anything that's not a number. And then you're going to delete from the padding where trip ID equals 23. This is just the simple delete statement, guys. That's what number 5 is. Number 5 has you delete a row of data. So you're just going to delete it. And it's a very simple statement. You're going to say delete from, you're going to say paddling, and then you're going to say where trip underscore ID equals 23. Then you're going to do that. And then once you've done that, you're going to do your generic select statement. You're going to say select asterisk from paddling and run it and take a snapshot. And then you need to set your distance to null for number 6. Number 6 is the distance from Pontarac Reservoir trips has been increased to an unknown number. Change the paddling table to reflect this change. That's very, very simple. Again, you're simply going to do an update. Paddling. You're going to say, oops, set. Ooh, I can't spell tonight. Set distance equals no. Where trip underscore name equals pond to reservoir tour. And run it, and it'll update it. And then you're going to do that select. You're going to do the select command so it shows all the trips and take a picture of it. You're going to do the generic select statement again so it shows the change. Number 7 says, add the paddling table a new character column named difficulty level. That is 3 characters in length. Then set the default difficulty level for all rows to the value mod. So you're going to have a bit of a bigger statement here. First, you're going to say alter table pattern. You're going to say add difficulty underscore level char 3. And then you see that semicolon. See that? And then you're going to say update paneling set difficulty underscore level equals mod. Capital emoji mod. Semicolon. Where you're basically going to be running two different queries. You're just going to run them one after another. And that's what that semicolon signifies. So that's the end of that query. So it needs to do that and then move on to the next query. If you tried to run them without that semicolon, you're going to get a big fat error that says this can't be done. Those semicolons have to be at the end of each one. And you're just going to run it, and it's going to update all that. Use the generic select statement again, and take a picture of it. And then you're going to change the difficulty level column in the paddling table to HRD for the Lake Champion Tour. That's just another update, guys. Just another simple update. So you're simply going to do update paddling, and you're going to say set difficulty underscore level equals HRD, where trip underscore name equals Lake Champion. Oops, Lake Champion Tour. And run it, and then do the generic select statement so we see your data. Number 9. Number 9 is change the length of the season column in the paddling table to 25 characters. Well, guys, you can do this one of two ways. You can write an SQL statement for it that simply says alter table paddling modify season char 25. Or you can click on your MySQL workbench, find your column. We're going to pretend we're doing it to the trip column. And click on the wrench icon. Wait for it to open. There it is. And you're changing the season column. You click on the season column and highlight it. You see, all the information is right here. You would just change that from 20 to 25 and then hit apply. And walk through the wizard, finish, whatever. And then go back to your tab and simply do a describe statement for that table. So you would simply say describe. In this case, we said trip. Oops, I misspelled describe, didn't I? Describe trip. And take a picture of that. Except for you would be doing describe paddling. Number 10 says, change the difficulty level column in the paddling table to reject nulls. Well, that means we need to make a not null. Again, you can write the SQL that says alter table paddling, modify difficulty level, not null. Or you can simply click on that little wrench icon beside the table name. And let it open. Click on the column and the check mark next to not null, and then hit apply. Go through the wizard. Go back and do a describe statement. Take a picture of it, paste it in here. You can do it either way that you're most comfortable with. Doesn't matter to me. As long as it gets done, doesn't matter how you do it. Quite honestly, if this was me doing it professionally, I'm going to click on the little wrench icon and I'm going to change it and move on, instead of taking the time to write out the SQL to do that. That's one of the biggest things I like about Workbench is you can do that. You can simply pull out those columns using that little wrench icon and change the attributes about that column. And just simply hit apply and it does it for you. Okay, guys, well, that's it for tonight. And since no one showed up for help with last week's assignment, those of you that need actual help, please email me some days and times you are available to meet with me, and let's get you caught up. This stuff isn't hard, guys. I just understand that sometimes it's hard to get started. Once you get started, it's like a light bulb comes on and you're like, oh, I get it. So if you're having issues, it's probably something itty bitty tiny that you're having issues with. And I can just point you in the right direction and we'll get it done and we'll get you caught up and we'll get you passing this class. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow at our next lecture.